So now, as we have a look at the grid here for the Senior X30A final, Thomas Fleming will start on pole from Lucas Ellingham in second. Then it'll be Alex Johnson and Archie Forbert on that second row. Jordan Brown and Harry Turpey in the third row. Now we look at the fourth, it's going to be Zach Ripley and Thomas Byron, then Louis Diamond and Hugo Gilbert, Aidan Line and Paul Simard in 11th for 12. Then we look at row 7, it's going to be Vishal Patel and Luke Taylor. 15th is going to be Benjamin Watts, and it's going to be Benjamin Southgate, Hector Hurst and Jensen Buckingham. On the 10th row of the grid, it's going to be Martin Auger and Remy Gilbert in 20th position. Rounding out the field, though, is going to be Tom Ryan in that 21st and last position on row 11.
Senior X30 then, time Kai. There they are, ready to go out. Couple of drivers that we saw certainly in the final heat of the day in Heat 3 that had one or two problems. Luke Taylor was one of them. He starts outside the top 10. I would certainly be expecting to see him trying to get his way through, having finished in 4th place at round number 4 a month ago. Well, of course, it's a monthly occurrence here at Wilton Mill, the 4th Sunday of the month normally. This one, though, the 5th Sunday of the month, which is happily freed me up from my normal obligations, which take me to the 4th Sunday of the month to come and sample some Wilton Mill action. I've been here twice already this season as part of when Teesside came here in February. Wilton Mill also hosted round 2 of the CKC Championships. Now it's time for me to sample some Wilton Mill Kart Club action as well. Been really impressed. Obviously it's Wilton, they run a good show here all the way through. Like, I spent a bit of time in race control during the CKC meeting, because we had a couple of guest classes, so I went in there, and the way they run things here at Wilton Mill is on par with the best of them.
Yeah, it's amazingly run, especially for a club championship. I'd say it's up there with some of the biggest British championships, and how they conduct themselves and run the meetings, and basically just the professionalism all around, from all of the officials, the marshals, and all the way to the guys working the office here, and all putting in a great shift so that everyone has a great day of racing and a lot of... How have you found the action so far?
It's been fantastic all the way through, hasn't it? It's been really good, really close racing throughout the day. Certainly the mixed grids, it makes it difficult sometimes to pick out where, you know, drivers are going to come through. We've got those that are generally either really quick, but then may well struggle to find the way through the traffic, as well as some of the others. There's some that might not have the outright pace, but certainly know how to make an overtake. In this one, for me though, we have one driver that has a huge amount of pace, and through earlier on, certainly in Heat 3, we saw was knowing how to make overtakes. That was Lucas Ellingham. We've got a kart there being moved right the way down to the tail end of the field. I'm not quite sure who that is or why. We'll try and find out as well. A bit of a pat on the back, so I don't know whether that's a driver that thought he was going to be somewhere near the front and had his kart there, and then needs a bit of consoling before we go.
I think that may be because they didn't have the kart on the grid before the gate had closed. In the driver's briefing this morning, it was made clear that all karts have to be on the grid and ready for racing with 2 minutes remaining on the clock from that previous race. So if that kart wasn't on that grid position in time, then unfortunately he will be having to start from the back. So that might be the situation. That's
one thing as well in terms of at this sort of level of racing. What I would say is the top end of UK club racing is that the rules are fairly clear, and by fairly clear I mean very clear, but it is black and white in terms of if you're not where you need to be when you need to be, you don't get to race from where you should be. You get put straight to the back. It's the same issue you had with the engine problem earlier on, is that in some classes and some meetings you'd be able to just roll straight back into position. They may even give you a rolling up lap to get you back into position. This is very black and white in terms of what goes. There's no ambiguity in it whatsoever. Well, I think what that does as a club, obviously, it shows that they're set on their rules, and what's been stated obviously goes ahead. But what that will set drivers up for is obviously maybe some disappointment if they can't quite get their way, but also as a club championship, it sets you up going forwards in British and maybe even European racing in karting, because they'll be very similar and very strict on their rules, especially because it's such a high level of competition. Absolutely. Here we go then. Ellingham on the front row alongside Fleming. I think we've got someone in third place there suggesting that we might go round again. I don't think we will, because we are a lot tighter than what we were. Here we go then. Into the tram lines, the lights go out, extinguished. Fleming chops across the bows of Ellingham into the first complex of corners, and in doing so, Ellingham gets slowed as well. Fleming's going to have an uncontested run down into Christmas Corner. The leading trio are through comfortably in single file. The rest of the pack sorting themselves out for that run down to Ashby's.
Yeah, what a great start there from Fleming as he gets himself into the lead of that race. Ellingham having a tuck into second. Not quite the start that he would have been hoping for from that inside line for the second corner. But we go down towards the boot. Looking behind him there, that's Ellingham, as he's now very close in behind our leader of Thomas Fleming. Fleming got a great launch off the line, but down the inside, that's a very late move there. That's the number 36. They both ran off the circuit there. Now it looks like that was Zach Ripley going for a move on Jordan Brown. Ripley making 2 positions off the start of this race. Up the inside, there goes Ellingham. I didn't expect him to sit in second for long. Fleming trying to get the switch back, but not able to do so. Maybe down into Ashby's if he's lucky, but up the inside, there goes Fleming, and it looks like following through as well. Johnston's actually going to take the lead there as he manages to switch back both drivers. Fleming is going to take second position, and Ellingham's going to have to settle down into third. He went for the lead and instantly loses 2 positions.
I was about to say this is the first time that Johnston's had an opportunity, and Fleming slowing into the boot section on the second lap. Problems for Thomas Fleming, a driver we expected to be on the podium, is making his way to the marshal's post. The cart's parked on the outside, 0 power and 0 chance of getting on the podium for Tom Fleming.
That's such an unfortunate situation there for Fleming. We know he had the outright pace. You can see the disappointment and confusion on his face as well. You'll be wondering what quite has happened there. And also very disappointed with the result that he will be getting at the end of the day. But up the inside, there goes Ripley once again, charging through the field right now and opening the floodgates. There goes all the way down the field. Torpy losing 4 positions in the space of 1 corner. But Ripley, what a charge he has had from the start of this race. He'll promote himself into third position. Driver squabbling all the way through the boot. That's going to be the 51 up the inside. That'll be Hugo Gilbert. He'll be making his way through from the back of the field. Obviously, the 2 brothers will be Remy Gilbert and Hugo, both racing in the senior X30 category. Up the inside, there's a move. That's going to be the number 80 of Joe Brown going for that move. Sorry, that's Jordan Brown going for the move, as he makes it up into Christmas and manages to hold the position as they go down through Ashby's once again. But Alex Johnston, very opportunistic to get himself into the lead as Diamond gets himself into 5th. But will he be able to hold it for long, as there's a little bit of wheel banging between the 2 of them? He's going to lose another one there as Hugo Gilbert manages to pull up alongside. And it's all kicking off here in the Senior X30 final as drivers battling for position all over the field.
It's been intense from start all the way up until now. We're not even at half race distance yet. Ripley sets the fastest lap. We had Johnston, Ellingham and Fleming on the opening lap, all exchanging places. Diamond comes back down the inside of Gilbert, then now that puts him back up into 6th place. Though saying at the start, this is the first time Johnston's had an opportunity really to battle with Ellingham because of where their different start positions have been in their previous races, that either of them have been able to just move away at the head. The 3 of them, as the 14 goes slightly wide into the corner there, that's Forber from 8th place. He's going to lose a few, and I don't think that's the end of this one. He may well have to defend venomously down towards the boot and park that car on apex, because I thought he was just not going to carry enough speed. He's going to get hung out to dry once again there as the 95 is H5 95 of Vishal Patel moves up into 11th place. Buckingham and Simard down 12th and 13th respectively. Forber lost 2 places on that lap. And, Gilbert's going to lose 1 there to Torpy in his charge back through the field.
Yep, Torpy getting a very textbook overtake there on Hugo Gilbert as we now go down through Ashby's and towards Oziers. Once again, we're nearly at half race distance right now. As soon as the drivers cross the line, they'll just be about half of this race remaining. But Alex Johnston has got himself into the lead, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to stay there for long as Lucas Ellingham is hard and charging. He was dropped down in 3rd position got past Fleming in the boot whilst his kart was breaking down, and is now charging onto the leader of Johnston. Look at the gap he's managed to pull down there. Watch out for Ripley in third as he's catching onto the both of them. So Ellingham in second, but Ripley in third is still a contender for the race lead.
He's arriving fashionably late to this first place party, isn't he, Ripley? He's just towing up on the back. 10th or so every single lap. He's going to be there or thereabouts come the end of it. They've got a comfortable gap then back to Brown, who's in fourth place. Ellingham on the lap prior to this one took half of their gap, which was out to 6/10 on Johnston, and down the inside into the boot. Ellingham carries all the speed. Then Ripley's going to come through as well. Johnston's going to drop 2 places down into third. We're still just beyond half race distance. Ripley, the fastest driver out there as well. He's within touching distance of Ellingham as they run up towards Christmas Corner. Johnston isn't going to settle. Down the inside goes Ripley into the lead. Now they're going to be side by side as they take the right down to Inkerman's. Then it's going to be on hard on the brakes down into Ashby's. Finally, they settle into a corner until Ripley goes wide onto the rumble strip. Probably the only corner you can run wide there, really, without losing a huge amount of track position, because the next corner is in your favour. Still, though, nose to tail, and Brown will be laughing at this because he wants to come and have another chance. Ellingham, favoured move once again, down the inside into the boot. Johnston's through, and Ripley, having gone into the lead, back down to third place again.
It's all kicking off at the front now as soon as Ellingham caught on to the back of Johnston. All these drivers want to have at least a moment of glory in the lead of this race. Ellingham holding on to it for now. Johnston's managed to tuck himself back into second position after all of that. Is he going to try for the lead? No, he isn't. Maybe he's trying to work with Ellingham to pull away from Ripley and Brown, which have now caught onto the back of this battle. Pulling a little bit of breathing room. Johnston knows he's not under threat of an overtake from Ripley for the time being, but Ellingham, you can see, putting his head down on the straight, trying to get that aerodynamical advantage over his competitors. So fast in the boot there, he's quick going into it, loses a little bit of momentum, a little bit of time on the exit, so maybe that's where some drivers will recognise his vulnerability, try and get a better run through the first part, and then switch back through the second going into the final corner.
Difficult to do both, isn't it, into the boot? You're either quick in or quick out as Johnston pops out of the slipstream, tries to dive down the inside of Ellingham. Ellingham, though, late on the brakes, as he has been into the boot section and carrying more speed. Diamond picks up a contact warning. We saw in the background he was having a fantastic battle with Byrne. Both of them now have dropped a couple of places because Torpy's back up into 5th place. Taylor's managed to get into 7th in that sandwich. Diamond and Byrne lost a second and a half each, and through down the inside comes Ripley back into 2nd place. That's going to demote Johnston down into 3rd. Brown is now right on the back of this. We've got a 4-kart battle for 3 podium places.
With that move being made, though, I was going to say it's lost them a bit of time, but Ripley still nose to tail with Ellingham as they make their way up towards Christmas. Checking over his shoulder twice. Insecure is Ellingham right now of this lead. Johnston trying to get the switchback. He's going to try and go the long way around. Isn't able to make it stick. Can Brown get the switchback as they go down into Ashby's? Ellingham going very defensive, late on the brakes as he moves just before that braking zone, trying to unsettle his competitors as they now go down the hill, down toward Oziers. Once again, it's going to be a great overtaking zone, but Ellingham covers the inside as they all go nose to tail. Johnston clipping the curve on the inside. That will lose him quite a bit of time. Brown trying to be opportunistic about that one, going around the outside into the boot. I don't think he's going to be able to make that one stick, but still on the back of Ellingham right now. Ripley very close to the back of the JDR car in the lead. Ellingham even defending into turn 1. That's not an opportunist. That's not a very close overtaking zone and not very often seen here in the class. But up the inside there goes Johnston. Just leaves a little bit of room on the inside, does Ripley, and Johnston dives for it. Still a minute and a half remaining in this race, and Ellingham out in front, feeling like he has to defend for every corner. Ripley back on the inside. Johnston's not holding that one for long, but as they go side by side, banging wheels there with Ellingham as Ripley goes wide. Ellingham back into the lead. Ripley demoted down in the 3rd position. Brown nearly getting a little bit of a bite at that one, but look at the drivers in the background as well. That's Torpy and Diamond. They'll be soon catching on to the back of this battle as all these drivers trying to find a single opportunity, and it looks like Brown's managed to do so. Has to back out actually as they go into the final corner. Ellingham gets a little bit of breathing room, but Johnston still under major pressure from Ripley.
They're almost losing 2 seconds a lap compared to their best, and it's really going to back themselves into Diamond, Torpy and Taylor's not too far back either. We could have 7 karts for this one. They really have started defending this one way earlier than what I would have certainly expected from these runners. But Ellingham and Johnston side by side once again. Johnston's going to be on the outside here. Down the inside comes Ripley onto the grass. Ripley's facing the wrong way, and the podium has gone for Zach Ripley. He was on the grass even before the apex of the corner. The two other runs, they went 3 wide into a corner that is normally single file. One of them was never going to come out of that corner. Zach Ripley was the driver that couldn't. There's drivers in the background as well. I saw half a spin in the middle of the boot section. Brown is now up into second. Diamond's on the podium as well. And it was Johnston who was sideways in the boot section. He's dropped down into 11th place outside, but Taylor picks up a contact warning as well. Brown now picks up the battle with Ellingham. I thought Ripley anyway, I thought he'd been incurred a front fairing penalty because he'd run straight into the back of Johnston earlier on. It looked like that had dropped down, but you can never quite tell with these cars depending on where it was positioned at the start of the race. But I thought that it might have been fruitless for him anyway. Nonetheless, he's still going to want to battle it out. Torpy now in 4th place, the position that I'd probably want to be going into such an intense final lap, because he's got nobody to defend against. It's 4 drivers, 3 steps on the podium. Torpy is where I'd want to be in 4th, certainly if I wanted to guarantee a podium. Is there anything Brown can do though about Ellingham on this run up to Christmas corner?
Brown now has all the responsibility
Taylor
coming out of the final corner. Taylor has abandoned his car and made a mistake, but all of the responsibility, red flag. We've had an incident in the final corner, and unfortunately that is going to be the red flag and the end of that race. Drivers seem to still think that we're battling, but Lucas Ellingham, with that red flag coming out, we will go down into the penultimate lap. So Lucas Ellingham will take the win from Jordan Brown and Louis Diamond. As the red flag is called, I'm guessing that'll be for the driver's safety, and any issues there, I'm sure the medic teams will be onto the circuit if any medical attention is needed for the drivers, as the marshals have done a great job at stopping that race in case there was any further damage caused. Yeah, drivers then coming straight into the pit lane because the race would have been towards the end anyway. They wouldn't have restarted that with 1 lap to go given the time that had elapsed. Just having a quick look then, we'll see the top 3 go in, and then we'll just give a little bit of thing on the incident that caused that red flag. And it's head down for Brown. I think there's a penalty coming for a driver that was going to step on the second step of the podium here. Pictures being taken of that front fairing, notes as well. And Jordan Brown from 2nd place pretty much bangs the steering wheel with his head. The 73 is pointed in, so that's going to be Harry Torpy then onto the podium. Louis Diamond as well, I think, will, if he can get it over that speed hump, will also head towards the podium as well. Looks like it's going to be Ellingham, Diamond and Torpy, although